Up until recently, burning wood is a common theme with laser engraving. However, what would you say if I told you you can now produce amazing works of art with a laser engraver, one, without burning the wood, and two, achieving a level of detail comparable and in some cases better than a CNC machine? Well, that is possible now using the xTool F2 Ultra UV. I'm going to show you how to go from that to something like that, which is incredible in detail. We're going to go through material selection. We're going to go through where to source your material. We'll go through placement onto the laser engraver, how to focus manually, how to focus automatically. Then we're going to go into xTool Studio, where I'm going to show you how to set up. For this, we're going to be using embossment mode. So we are going to need to produce something called a depth map, which I'll show you how to do. Finally, we're going to feed it back into xTool Studio, prepare our image, apply our unique settings, and I'm going to tell you some amazing tips and tricks along the way. So if you want to learn how to do that, stick around and we will get straight to it. In terms of our material, so these are some relatively inexpensive wooden coasters I picked up from AliExpress. You can get them from various different places. And what I will say is it doesn't actually specify the exact type of wood, but I suspect it's some kind of beech wood. They come in packs of 2, or you can buy them in bulk, but they are really, really effective for this kind of thing. Placement is critical with these because we want them to be exactly in the center. So I'm using my self-centering jig, and as you can see, it pulls everything in and then it allows you to actually rotate it, so it's ideal. One thing to note is the grain direction. So I like doing it on a bit of an angle. I think it looks really interesting, but if you want to play it safe, you could probably do it vertically or horizontal just so that it looks a bit more uniform. I am going to do it on an angle in this case, having that dark section at the top. See, our 2 dots are not joined together, which means the laser isn't focused. So to sort that out, we are going to be using the arrow to go up or down until those 2 dots join together, as you will see right there. Let's move over to xTool Studio. So here we are on xTool Studio, and you'll be familiarized with it now. What we are going to do is in the top right, we're going to hit that new project button right there. And assuming you were connected to your F2 Ultra UV last time, it should beep and connect it, and it will give us an updated image. So as I alluded to at the start of the video, we are going to be using embossment mode today. So the first thing we want to do is move up here, and in our modes right there, we are going to select it. And then what you're going to see is it's going to tell you all of the different modes that xTool has, and there are various different ones for various different machines. In this case though, you will see right there, we will be selecting embossment mode. So once I've selected that, it now treats things slightly differently. And if I show you this bit at the top, because it's critical, it will say in embossment processing, you need to use depth images. Now, I remember the first time I did one of these, I had no idea what a depth image was, or a depth map image as it's referred to, but I'm going to take you through the full process of how to get an image, and it can be any image, turn it into a depth map, then bring it in here, and I'll show you exactly what you need to do to make this work. That being said, I am also going to select my material first. So I believe these coasters are a beech or a hardwood of some type. So I'm going to select beechwood coasters just because it is similar to the material, but it doesn't really matter in this exact case. So now we have that. What I'll show you first is I will import a depth map image so you're aware of what it looks like. So let me show you first how I generated this. So the first thing I did is I just went into Google, and so Forest Green Rovers are a local football team to me. They're kind of my second team. So I thought, let's do their logo and let's do that. So I've literally just selected it, right clicked, and just done save image. And that's it, as simple as that. And you can do it with photos that you have or anything else. Now we are going to move across to a software which I absolutely love, and I've been using it for a long time, and it is called Sculpt OK. And this is probably the benchmark best software available for this at the moment. And what I will say is you do get a number of free credits if you make an account. You can also subscribe and get a different plan if it suits you, if you're going to do this a lot. This is great for any kind of embossing, so coins, wood, metals, all of that stuff. I am already signed up, and I have actually been given a membership by SculptDoc. I wanted to make it clear to you guys, but what I will say is I've been recommending this long before they did that for me. So before we get started, I just want to ask you guys, if these videos are helping you and you're really benefiting from them, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, and also considering joining as an L3D member. That gets you cheap jigs. It gets you a nice little badge against your name. I'll mention you at the end of the video for your moment of stardom, and it also helps support the channel and allows me to keep making more of these. And if you want one of these beautiful machines, check out the affiliate links in the link below. Let's move back in. So let's move on to how do we do this. And if you click on AI tools there, they have a number of different things you can do. AI image generator, 3D generators, pixel upscales, 3D previews. We're going to be using this bit here, which is AI depth map. So click on that. And what it will do is it will bring up this user interface. And all you need to do here is select your image. So click on that plus icon, and then it's going to show you all the previous images you've got, or you can just go into your folder structure here and it will show you in that sense. Just select the image you want. So I'm going to select that logo I literally just saved. Now there are a number of drop downs you can do. You can do background removal, HD restoration, and they have different models. I am going to use Sculpt Pro 1.5 in this case. Gives you a higher resolution and it will just give us a great thing. Then you can select your image dimensions. I'll select Pro in this case. And then if you click detailed parameters, there are different options you can do. So in this case, optimize, repaint. I'm just going to stick with that AI optimization off because it's a simple image. Then I am going to select 16-bit, but you can hover over these question marks and it shows you what they do. It just gives you a better finished image if you increase it. But what I will say is the more things you select, the more credits it uses. And in your case, mine's saying it's free because I've got their VIP membership. It will cost you a number of credits there, but like I said, you get some for free. So once you've got that, you click on that draw button there, and what it will give you is your finished results here. It does take a little bit of time, but you can see right here, it's got a watermark on it, so you can see it for free. You can select 3D preview, and what that does is it loads up this page here. And yes, it's color, so it's harder to see exactly what it is, but it'll give you an idea, as you can see there, exactly how that will look when it's finished. And this is going to look really, really cool. So assuming you're happy with your depth map, you want to click that download button right there. And it will say to you, download image without watermark for however many credits it costs you. You click confirm, and then what you'll see in the top right is over here, it will then give you your image, which is a depth map image. Let's move back over to xTool Studio and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So we are back in xTool Studio, and what we're going to do now is click on this plus import icon on the left side, and you'll see there is the one we've literally generated. And then as you can see, it will come in. So what I noticed, what happens a lot of the time is it will come in with like a black border around it. There's a couple of things you can do to combat that. You can right click and apply a mask, a circular one. And as you can see, it's pretty much auto picked it up there. You can adjust it to actually get rid of that and then click done. That's one way you can do it. The other way that you can do it, and I'll show you it as well, is click your image, and then up here on the adjust bar, you can click cutout, and then there is a manual cutout which doesn't cost any credits. Then you just need to select the area you want to get rid of. And it's quite intuitive if you have a nice JPEG like this. More complicated images, it might not really do it. You could cut out that bit in the middle there as well, but I'm going to keep it. But we're going to hit confirm, and now we have our circular image depth map, which is perfect and allows us to move forward. So one of the reasons I recommended my self-centering jig is because if we position this picture centrally, you can see it perfectly lines up with my coaster because the jig's pulled it in centrally. So all I have to worry about is the actual size I want to engrave. And in this case, I think I'll do it. If you want to adjust it, you just come up here, look, and I'm going to probably do it 95 millimeters. And once we centrally align that, and I'll frame it in a minute to show you, that gives us a nice little border around our image. Actually, you know what? Let's increase it. I'm going to go to 97, centrally align it, and that should give us a nice little perimeter and also give us a nice big image. Now, let me explain depth maps and how they work. So you can see shades of different colors, but what the laser can see is different shades of how often it needs to engrave that area until it stops and then focusing on other areas. So for example, the lighter areas are areas that it's not going to touch as much. It'll engrave them a bit, but as it gets darker, that tells the laser engraver it needs to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Hence the name depth map. And I thought I'd do a side-by-side from the 3D preview generator in Sculpt OK, just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to say here. So if we zoom in here, you can see the text is white, okay? If we zoom in here, you see the text is raised up in comparison to the rest of it. And like I said, the laser sees that lightness and it doesn't really apply much power or many passes to it. But if you come to a darker area, like this internal area here, you'll see it's actually a lot deeper than the rest of it. And that's how you get your 3D image, is because some areas are only engraved certain much, but then as it does a new layer, it goes deeper and deeper in other areas, and the result is a really amazing looking 3D thing. So that is basically how a depth map works. Now, in terms of placement, we have our self-centering jig, but we are going to frame this just to make sure we are entirely happy with it. So to do that, we are going to click on that framing arrow, the 3 dots at the bottom there. And in this case, I want to do an outline because I want to see the circular shape so that I can line it up perfectly. If we kept it on rectangular, it would just do the bounding box that you can see around it, and it wouldn't help us. So we're going to do outline, and then what we're going to do once I get it right is we're going to hit that framing button, and let's go and take a look. So as I said, as you can see right there, that is perfectly central. We haven't had to do any manual adjustment. It just makes life a lot easier. At this point now, you could actually rotate the jig to align your grain to however you want it. Like I said, I kind of have gone for an angled one. I just think it's going to look interesting and unique. But if you want to be more uniform, keep it horizontal or vertical. Okay, so now that we know it's framed and we're happy with it, we are going to apply our embossing material settings. So by default, when you select a material, you're going to see reference. That is xTool basically taking the material and taking their mode and giving a best guess effort of what it thinks you need to do. And as you can see in this case at the moment, and these aren't the settings we're using, just to clarify here, so stick around, I'll give you my settings. It's going to do 200 layers, so it's going to do 200 passes of it, 80% power, 2500, 300 lines per second, which is really high resolution, and it's going to descend at the z-axis every 10 layers by 0.01 millimeters. So that means it's going to do 10 passes, then it's going to drop a little bit by 0.01 millimeters, do 10 more, and drop a little bit. And that allows it to always be focused on the surface, because like we said, we're not doing a surface engraving, we're doing a depth engraving. But in my opinion, if you use those settings, I think it would be absolute overkill in this case. So I have done a few passes. You've seen the examples at the start. So if I select, you can see I've got a few test pieces here, but I think the one I ended up going with is this one here, which I've reduced the layers down to 100. We don't need 200. 100 will give us a lot of depth. I kept the 80% power. I kept the speed they recommended. I have reduced the lines per centimeter. The reason for that is because I'm trying to bring down that engraving time, because it's quite substantial. You'll see in a minute. If you want it really detailed though, if you've got a photo or a really unique item that you want to engrave onto it, up it back to 300, but I've gone for 250. You could probably go lower. And then I'm keeping the descend settings exactly the same. By default, xTool has this noise reduction, which if we highlight it, it says this function can optimize the rough effective embossment process for some materials. In layman's term, it's going to simplify it and tidy it. It also has a cleanup setting, but it's more for metal, so we're not going to worry about that. So those are our settings. One really cool thing about this mode though, if we click off that framing button, which is still actually going, and click preview down in the bottom right, xTool will actually generate us a preview similar to Sculpt OK. And as you can see, it's going to look really cool. And I think this is going to look absolutely brilliant. And it gives you an idea. So you can see those different color kind of shades that I told you about. It allows you to see if it's going to work out how you want it. And that is good for us. So we're happy with that. We're going to click the process button now. And what I will say is when you process this, it will take a little bit of time because it's going to be working out exactly how to do everything. So let's press that button. So as I said, this one here is 2 hours and 4 minutes and 4 seconds. So they do take some time, but my opinion on it is you don't have to do that. If you want to do 50 layers, that will halve the time. Or if you want to decrease the lines per centimeter, it will also decrease the time. I like this. I don't mind leaving my machine running for 2 hours, but it does produce a lot of dust. And I'm going to show you my filter in a minute, which helps combat that. But in this case, we will go ahead and we will use these settings because I have tried them and they work great. So let's click that start button. It should send the file through. You'll hear a beep. Right on cue. So let's go and engrave this. Before we start, I just want to talk you through safety and recommendations. So we are going to be burning wood and we are going to be producing lots of fine dust. So I use a magnetic pre-filter. I do make and sell these, but you can get them in various places to capture the first line of dust, because what that allows is us to protect it getting sucked down and clogging up our portable filters within our AP2 air purifier. Also, I recommend closing the lid. I'll be keeping mine up, but I will be using safety laser glasses. And then finally, extraction, as I mentioned, is critical in this case. We have just finished and this thing is looking absolutely outstanding. One thing I will say, this is why I recommend getting a pre-filter. Look at the amount of dust that has stopped from going into our extraction. So we do need to give this a little bit of a vacuum, but I'm going to show you it before I do that. So look at it. I mean, if we zoom in on the actual lion and the unicorn, they are incredible. So you can see the grain as well. It has got a bit of an angle on it. Like I said, you can rotate it however, but overall I am blown away by the results and I'm sure you are too. So you know how to do it now. What an amazing result. As you can imagine, I was blown away the first time I did that and I wanted to show you guys as soon as possible. Check out the Facebook links for the groups below. We have a brilliant community where we share these kind of things all the time and you get first access to those kind of settings. Also, if you like the look of the UV laser or any other xTool laser, consider supporting my channel by using one of my affiliate links down below in that description. But once again, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you to our members, our L3D members who support me every month, and I'm going to be showing them after this. So have a great day, guys, and until the next video, see you soon.